Good evening, everyone in the audience, as well as those joining us online. We're going to call to order the meeting of June 28th, 2022, Daytona Beach Shores. Sherry, can you take a roll, please?
Mayor Miller,
I'm here.
Vice Mayor Lindauer,
Here.
Councilmember Bryan,
Here.
Councilmember Frizzlone,
Here.
and Councilmember Flores is excused tonight.
Thank you. Okay, Reverend Bob. Thank you again so much for joining us.
You are welcome. I invite you all to stand as you're able and join me in the invocation. God Almighty, as we approach the Independence Day holiday this weekend, we are filled once again with gratitude for the possibilities of this country and for the great gift that it is to each and every one of us as citizens. We thank you for the ways in which we have experienced this country's greatness and how we continue to pray for greater days ahead. We thank you for the justice and liberty that we celebrate as part of the freedom that we share in this country. And so as Americans, we come before you with grateful hearts for those liberties that we enjoy. But we also call upon you to continue to strengthen us as citizens for the responsibilities that those liberties bear. Continue to guide and direct us. Continue to shine your light before us, that we may be a beacon of light and freedom to the rest of the world. Hear our prayers for guidance for our elected officials tonight and the decisions they must make. Thank you for the opportunity to express our citizenship in healthy and good ways in this place as we gather tonight. And we would be remiss if we didn't thank those who keep us safe. Keep them safe as we go into this holiday weekend. Protect our safety officers and encourage their families as well as they keep us safe during the celebration of our independence. These things we ask in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Reverend Bob, before you take your seat, would you like to put a little plug in for Movie Mania?
Well, sure. It's coming up probably faster than we realize. And as I was entering the doors to our lovely community center here, I saw the flyer for that. So make sure you check that out on the way out because I won't remember the movies or at least the order that they're shown in. But it's July 17th, 19th, and 21st. Again, just a wonderful partnership between the Drive-In Church and the city of Daytona Beach Shores to offer this to our community and the broader community, to invite them to the shores to enjoy a movie night. I believe a free movie night, right? There's dollar concessions. If you get hungry, come into our Friendship Hall. We'll have something for you to eat. And of course, there'll be games for kids and number of activities that our sponsors each night are providing. I believe the movie show lineup is Sunday night Spider-Man, Tuesday night Ghostbusters. These are the newest releases of those movies. And then Thursday night Encanto, which is a Disney special. If you have kids or grandkids, you've probably already seen it 500 times, but see it with us one more time.
Thank you very much. We're glad to partner with you.
Great.
Thank you. Okay, next, under our presentations and public notices, we're going to have Sharice Wentz. She is going to come up, and this is something we've done, Sharice, in the Shores. Is this our third? Third? Okay. If you'd like to come up and tell us a little bit about it. Just introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Sharice Wentz with Operation Changing Lives, and I'm also the owner of Sharice's Salon in the Shores for 33 years. So thank you to the Shores for allowing me the opportunity to always get back to the community. And so I was hoping that you all would once again help us and support the 5K. Usually I had it down in Platts Inlet, but unfortunately we had to move it, and we feel like this is a better location because it's an out and back race and all the runners love it. So,
I think I participated all
Yes.
3 years. Well, last year I had my knee injury, but people do say how well they love it in the Shores. Our public safety assists. So right now, are we just asking for consensus for approval?
okay.
All right. Councilman Bryant?
Yeah, that's fine.
Vice Mayor? Okay, Councilman Frizzolo?
Good to go.
Okay, that was pretty easy, and I say yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
See you all.
Okay, next we're going to go on for the city council minutes of June 14th, 2022. Do I hear a motion to accept those minutes as is? Thank you.
Second.
Anything, discussion on those minutes? Okay, if not, we're going to move on to the consent, oh, I'm sorry, vote. Sherry, can you take a vote on that, please?
Councilmember Frizzlo?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lindauer?
Yes.
Councilmember Braun?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, thank you. Okay, next, the consent agenda. There is 4 items on that. Do I hear a motion to accept as is without polling?
Motion to accept as is without polling.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on any of those 4 items? Okay, if not, Sherry, now can you take a roll, please?
Councilmember Frizzlo?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lindauer?
Yes.
Councilmember Braun?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, thank you. Okay, this evening, we have Garrett Olson again from the Voice Law Firm with us. Garrett, what do you have for a city attorney report?
Good evening, Mayor. Our office handled a couple items with the city since our last meeting. The first of which was the preparation of a form special event ordinance draft form for the city manager to prepare in anticipation of any unplanned special events to kind of get in front of the new special event zone law that was enacted recently in the state. The second point that we handled is we finally got the information back from the warranty company in regards to the fire truck ladder. We just got the warranty, the language of the warranty today at 5 or 6 o'clock. We haven't had any time to go over it, but our office is prepared to work with the Public Safety Department to figure out what happened when, so we can evaluate whether or not we need to take legal action in regards to any denial of the warranties.
Okay, and I know you'll be checking with the city manager as well, and will you have an update for us, do you think, at the next meeting?
Yes,
Thank you.
definitely.
Thank you.
The third item is our office worked with city staff to provide legal advice regarding Public Safety Department personnel issue. And finally, we performed legal research and held a planning conference with the city manager and with our Public Safety Department in preparation for a hearing on that personnel issue.
Okay, thank you, Attorney Olson. Do we have any questions for our city attorney?
Yeah, I have a question. Did they formally deny coverage?
I do not believe so. But we're anticipating that they will.
And we didn't have a copy of the warranty. We had to run them for.
We did, yeah. I have copies of emails. We're going back weeks about asking, and we finally got it today.
Okay, any other questions? If not, our second time here, City Manager Kurt Sportslander, what do you have for us this evening?
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council. I have a short list, I think. I just wanted to bring to council's attention that I've been contacted by Waste Pro. In their contract, they are allowed to ask for a cost of doing business adjustment. I know some of the other cities have already received a formal letter with a request, and I'm bringing it up because that request at the other locations was a 20 to 30% increase. We have contract language. We do not have to allow that increase, but I have not received a formal letter yet, but I wanted to let you know what's going on at all the cities that Waste Pro has contracts with. So I wanted to bring that up so it's not a surprise one day when I say, oh, here, I've got a letter for a 30% increase for the shores. When I get that letter, I will get with the attorneys and we'll go through the contract and see what is allowed and not allowed, but and on Zoom calls with other managers, and it's a pretty big impact to the city. It's about $1.5 million contract every year for the city, so a 30% increase could be huge. I don't know that it's going to be that. We're a small contract. I think that's why I have not heard a formal response, but they did reach out and say they wanted to get together on a phone call and talk to us. So I just wanted council to be aware that as we get ready for budget, that could be a surprise in the budget.
And Kurt, do we have anyone else that we could even look at? I mean, do we have a yearly contract with them? How many years have we signed?
It's, our contract expires in 2026.
Okay, so,
September 30th of 2026. So we have language in there that covers all the components of that, but they are allowed to ask, and until I see their justifications for the ask, maybe the staff may say, no, it's not even justified. The attorney may say it's not justified, but it will be council's final decision on what would be allowed, acceptable, whatever word we want to use for that.
okay, well, thank you for letting us know.
Next, the Bank of America property has sold to RMS Properties out of Schaumburg, Illinois. It was purchased for $1.3 million. And if you've seen the sign, you'll see that the property is currently available for lease.
Has anyone contacted the city at all about that property that you know of?
No, Mayor. I tried to call out, I called both the numbers, and one said you need to talk to the other person. I called and left a message, and I'm waiting on a phone call back from the broker. Next item, traditionally, the city's canceled meetings in the second meeting in November for Thanksgiving, second meeting in December, and I'm asking if council would like to go ahead and formally cancel those, but in addition, the first meeting in August has a slight conflict with the League of Cities Conference. So I'd like to ask for that meeting to be canceled as well. So that'd be November 22nd, December 7th, and August 9th of 2022. 27th.
Okay, and we've done that every year, and as I remember, in August, we canceled meetings previously because there isn't that much business going on, but it was traditionally the second meeting in the month that we canceled, but because of the mayor's conference and me leaving, I think that's why we're asking for
Yes,
us.
so we'll still have it, you're right, in the past, we've canceled the second meeting in August, we'll just flip-flop it this year to accommodate that conference.
Okay, all right. Any comment on that, or do you need a consensus to cancel that?
Yeah, I think we've done that by vote in the past, Sherry, so.
Councilman Brand?
Yeah, we're going to vote? I move that we cancel.
Second.
Okay, if no discussion on it, Sherry, can you take?
Councilmember Bryan?
Yes.
Councilmember Frislow?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lindauer?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, thank you.
And thank you for that. And another question, Mr. Booker, former city manager, last year, just before Veterans Day, proposed the idea to the council of adding Veterans Day as an official holiday for the city. So as we prepare budget, and there is a budgetary impact to adding a holiday, I'm following up with that because it was kind of unclear of what action was actually taken by council. It was sort of, are you interested in doing it? And council said yes, but there was not a formal vote to add it. So I'm asking council tonight to see if you are interested in adding it. We will add it to the budget. We will be bringing a formal calendar for next year back before the council. So I'm kind of looking for consensus direction to have that as a permanent holiday.
Kurt, I was checking around and I see that the county does offer that in several other cities. So I'm of the opinion right now, that I think that would be a nice thing to do for our employees. You know, we talk about retention, rewarding people that have been here. That would be something that I could support.
Yes, I would strongly support it, yes.
Councilman
Are
Bryan,
we gonna vote on
do we need a vote or just?
We'll bring back a formal calendar of all the holidays, in that way it's on what dates they will all be.
So right now, are you asking us for authorization to add that on to our
Yes.
holidays?
Can I make a suggestion?
Certainly.
Given the temperature, why don't we just make a motion and move forward?
That's acceptable.
I'd like to make a motion to make Veterans Day an official holiday in the Daytona Beach Shores.
I second it.
Any discussion? Sherry, can you take a roll, please?
Yes, ma'am. Councilman Frislow?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lindauer?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes.
Councilmember Bryan?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, to any of the employees out there, enjoy your Veterans Day. We appreciate you, and I hope this is one of the ways that you see how much we do appreciate you.
And I had last week sent an email out about turtle nests to all the members of council, but for the public's information, this year we've had an abnormally high number of turtle nests, which is a good problem to have in the turtle world. But that means that our lights will also be turned off. So if you see a light pole that is off when it should be on, but it has green tape around it, that means there's a nest nearby and it has to be turned off. So look for that green tape and please spread the word. We do get calls every year. This light is out, that light is out, and well, it's because of the turtles. So spread the word. The green tape is a nest. So, wanted to give an update on the investments. We are now at 20 million based on the change the council made at the last council meeting. We are looking at possibly another 2 to 3 million. We're still working on cash flow projections and timing, all of those things. And we are now in 3-month up to 24-month based on current cash flow projections. I wanted to provide an update on the status of the restoration portion of the project at Treasure Island. They are moving along really well. Our building official was up there today, and they still do have some things outstanding, but they've started hydro seeding a good portion. It's really leveled. They have some fencing issues and stuff to address. We did send the owners an email today. I don't know if she's here, but thank you. Oh, she is. Thank you, Gwen, for doing that. With those outstanding items, there's 5 or 6 on there. It's kind of an unofficial list of all the things that they agreed to in the development agreement that they still have to do. They have to, through July 11th, complete those things. So I'm not concerned. They've been very responsive to all those things. So right now, I believe they will meet their deadline, but we will stay on top of that. And then the last thing, I would just like to say congratulations to Mayor Miller, Vice Mayor Lindauer, and Chris Conomos for their being selected by the city to take office in November, again, for two of you a second term. Chris will be his first term. So congratulations to those. And publicly to Councilmember Frizzalone, I want to say thank you. It's been a good run. This is your last meeting, and I've enjoyed working with you. Many meetings, many phone calls. It's been great. Thank you. And stay in touch.
Is there anything on our city manager report that we'd like to go into more detail? Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question, Kurt. So the way you interpret the trash contract is that we don't have to accept any cost of living?
Correct.
But that,
I'll hear them out.
Yeah,
But,
the contract doesn't obligate us, even if somebody feels they're justified, we're still not obligated.
it's my understanding, but as I said, once I get their letter, I'll get with the attorneys to make sure that they are interpreting the contract the same way.
Okay.
any other questions? Again, I want to go back to Treasure Island, and thank you for the support of the city the patience. We just started that in March, and here we are at the end of June, so 3 months later, and we went from that ugly building we had, that safety hazard, into what we have now. So thank you again. Thank you to all of my council and to the staff for our support on that project. Greatly appreciate it. Okay, next we're going to go on. I don't think we have anything for old business, so we will move on to new business. And this first is the consideration to change the contract with ChargePoint. City Manager, do you want to give us an update on that?
Yes, about 3 years ago, the city entered into a contract with ChargePoint to provide electric vehicle charging. And at that time, the city made a decision to allow the first 4 hours of that contract or of their charging to be free. I've had numerous complaints that with the price of gasoline and the vehicles that are charging out there are now getting 4 hours of free charging. So we had always anticipated that at some point we would remove the free portion of that. And we also then entered into a contract with FP&L to replace the ChargePoint charging station, which originally the transformer that is preventing those from going live was supposed to be put in on June 20th. We're still waiting to hear they said maybe next week, maybe the 14th. So I'm here to ask tonight if council is of the opinion to put an effective end date to the free charging. I'll suggest August 1st if for some reason the FPL chargers are not active. Once those go active, we will inactivate the ChargePoint. We didn't want to completely shut off charging. So the question is, if FPL does not replace the ChargePoint in a timely fashion, that we would go to no longer allowing for 3 hours of charging.
And you and I had discussed this, Kurt, and I know you were thinking maybe either sooner than that, but I wanted to make sure that people had ample notice, that we were. And to your point, we had always come to the conclusion that we were going to end at 4 hours. This is pushing us a little bit more, but it was never intended to always be free.
The free was intended just to get those early adopters of electric vehicles, but they are way more common now, 3 years later, and I think that trend is only going to skyrocket. So,
And I know there is a lot of use of that from our residents and for our visitors as well. So, I felt comfortable with the August 1st date just to give them ample notice, but I want to make sure anyone that utilizes those chargers realizes in 2 weeks that transformer might be in, and then it will end on that date. So everybody understands the latest date, it would be August 1st that we would begin charging. It could be sooner if the FPL transformer is in. So does anyone have any discussion on that? Want to think anything differently?
What are the charges? What would be the charges as of the 1st of August?
Did FPL give us?
it's in the
The charge point.
Saying over ChargePoint.
ChargePoint. I don't remember what the charge is. I believe it's
The FPL.
FPL, I believe is 40 cents per kilowatt hour.
And I think, as I remember, it was pretty similar.
I believe it is, but I don't remember exactly what the charge point was.
So does any discussion on that? Is everybody comfortable with the August 1st date?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, do I need a motion on that?
Please.
Okay, I can have a motion that we ended on August 1st for the
I
transformer.
move we end on August 1st.
I'll second it.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I would question, will that charge point chargers remain there once the FPLs are in place?
We'll actually have to buy out the contract. Do you,
Yeah, we're technically in year 4 already, I believe. But no, that one will be removed. The FP&L chargers are still utilizing the ChargePoint payment system. So anybody who has a ChargePoint account will interact the same way with the new devices.
Mary, can you take a roll on that, please?
Yes, ma'am. Councilman Bryan?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lindauer?
Yes.
Councilman Frislow?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, thank you. Okay, so next we're going to go on to discussions of a passage of a smoking bill and the effects on public areas in the city. So it's probably I think you sent us something, Councilman Bryan, that it was signed, but it wasn't actually signed on that date. It was about 3 days later, right?
A little later.
You were a little premature, you were very anxious.
Yeah, it was, actually, the way I remember it, it actually said, anyway, it is signed now.
It is signed now.
Yeah.
So, do you want Attorney Olson to start with this, or what? So we have to discuss, yeah, Kurt, I want someone to explain to us that right now, we only have the authority to do something for our city, the parks in our city.
Correct. And tonight is really just a discussion. Staff is asking, City Council, do you want to have staff bring back an ordinance to enforce no smoking in the parks? And if so, we can bring something back. The attorney is ready to speak about legalities of that, but the discussion tonight really is focused on, does this council want to do something to prevent smoking in the parks? If so, we can bring something back at your direction.
Okay, let's have a discussion on it. Rick, I know you're going to be leaving, but what were your feelings on smoking in the parks?
I can't imagine why we wouldn't want to prevent smoking in the parks. And so, yeah, I mean, would it make any difference whether I'm here or Ponce Inlet, or I can't imagine why we wouldn't. I think, you know, the governor signed it in to law, and I don't know why we would not want to enforce it. That's just the way I come out on this. I think, you know, it's a public nuisance, and, you know, I mean, people have a right to smoke, but not in a public environment that could affect others. My opinion.
That's what I wanted. And just to clarify, so we're talking about the 3 parks that we have in the shores, which is Antonopolis, Beachcomber, McElroy, which includes the dog park, and then the veteran park in the back, so I guess really 4. And then we had, in a discussion, had talked about the tennis courts and the pickleball.
Yes.
Correct. Okay, so right now, we just want to have a discussion on it and to see if we want to bring it forward at this time. And Richard, I know that you had a real passion about it. Would you like to?
Well, I favor bringing something forward, but just to be clear, the main reason why I was supporting it, you know, the Shores is an extremely small percentage of the population of Florida, and I was supporting it because of the benefit to the rest of Florida. It will have some benefit to the Shores, but nowhere near the total benefit to Florida. That was the main reason why I spent the time and effort on it.
But at this point, it's up to each one of those cities.
Yeah, it's up to the cities.
So we have no control over that. I mean,
but
we're supporting it.
I'm guessing that, you know, a reasonably large percentage of the cities will eventually adopt something. But the one issue has to do with county properties, and the way it's been interpreted is that until the county acts, either giving cities permission, or maybe they'll decide to prevent smoking on the beaches and in their county parks, we are prohibited or preempted from actually, you know, implementing this on county parks or on the beach. But I'm in favor of doing it on city parks for now, and trying to encourage the county to take some action that will allow us, either us to do it or for them to do it on the county park.
And Attorney Olson, in this sample ordinance that Attorney Bose wrote for us, I like the part that she had put in there about the trigger. So see if I understand that correctly. So that means if the county does take action, that we are automatically saying that we agree. Is that correct? Or
Yes.
Can you explain that trigger to me?
Sure. It's specifically if the county takes action that lifts the preemption on the city from regulating individual conduct on the beach. The current preemption now that the county has in place, Volusia County is a charter county. When they preempt an area, we cannot go in and regulate it. That room is filled, so to speak. But if they leave the room, this provision would then trigger the ordinance, this particular provision to come into effect, to come into the space vacated by the county. So it's only if the county leaves if they get rid of the preemption. But if they decide, if they decide to take some action of their own, then it wouldn't keep that.
And that's not to say that, we're all involved in county issues, that If we do this ordinance, I think it'll make it very clear that, yes, we are interested in doing that, and yes, you would have our support too. But does that stop us from lobbying at all to,
No, you certainly could lobby the county to take action.
thank you. And then at what point do we, one of the things that I want to discuss is, with our public safety here. So if we have that ordinance, would that be in the next thing that we would define? Is it a citation? Is it a couple of warnings? Is it, I've used this analogy before. I don't want them to be talking to someone about smoking when there is a domestic violence down the street or a bank robbery. So, well, how would that be in the ordinance that we define citation, first offense?
Of course, we would have discretion as a city to decide how we'd want to enforce that particular code provision. Just the nature of the offense itself would kind of lend itself to a citation-based form of enforcement. But then the next question is, how are we going to enforce that on the beach necessarily? So at that point, we can, should the county lift the preemption, we can always approach the county with possibly enforcing that provision themselves. We can talk with them about that. But my speculation is that if the county does move on this, they'll probably want to be the ones to enforce their own regulation. But certainly if they leave the space, then we would have full authority on how we enforce that provision.
But for the time being, the enforcement would just be by the areas that we designated.
Yes.
Any other discussion?
Did you find out what we do for indoor smoking violations?
I have not yet, no.
Okay. Vice Mayor, do you have any comment on this?
Yeah, first of all, I'm definitely for prohibiting smoking in the parks. And I have a question on the ordinance, this proposed ordinance. Is this something we should pass and have in hand? Does it have any effect at all? Is there any reason why we wouldn't pass it?
That's just a sample that the attorneys prepared, that if you want to move forward, we would bring a formal version of that ordinance at the next meeting for first reading. And then, obviously at the following meeting, a second reading, and then it would require a resolution to set the locations and the citations would have to be set, I believe, by resolution is how it's written.
Yes, that's correct.
Well, I think we should move ahead and put it on the agenda for the next meeting.
Is that all we need?
If that's consensus, it'll be
Yes.
there on the next one.
Yes, it'll be on the next meeting. Okay. Any other questions or comments on
You
it?
mentioned lobbying. A year or a year and a half ago, I tried to get the county interested just to support and try to get it to the legislature. They didn't seem to even know much about it, so there wasn't much interest. But I think it would be good if the staff or the city manager made some contacts with their assistant city manager or their county manager.
I think you had plans to do that.
I am planning, yes, to reach out to the
And
manager.
I'll contact, like Billy Wheeler and the chair, and if anybody else has, particularly good relationships with other county council members, it would be useful.
I reached out to Billy today. I don't know if you're aware, she has a family emergency.
No.
Yeah, she has a family emergency that she's really stepping back from her job right now. So I did leave a message. She didn't call me back.
Kurt, would it help if you had this ordinance in your pocket when you're talking to the county?
Yes, I will probably forward that in an email to county manager so they know what we're planning on doing, and that will hopefully open the discussion.
The other thing I would suggest is, we did pass a resolution urging the legislature to pass this, and it has all the reasons why, the public health reasons and so on. So you might want to include that as well.
Okay, and this could also be something, Kurt, at our next roundtable, elected officials, that Kurt and I attend. We can talk about it at that time as well. I'm the vice chair of that committee. I'll get the chair to put that on as an action item. So I think that would help as well. All right, anything else? All right, so right now we'll leave this, that we are very interested in doing this. The staff will go about getting an ordinance together, and in the meantime, our city manager will reach out to the county manager, George Reckenwald, to discuss it with him. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so right now I wanted to tell you 11C, we're going to move that to more to the end of the meeting. I know we're close to the end of the meeting right now, but that will be one of the last things we do before we adjourn. Okay, so council comments. Vice Mayor, would you like to go first?
Yeah, I would just like to say how pleased I am to get to spend 4 more years on council, thanks to opposition, which I hope was a signal that we were doing okay and nobody wanted to run against us. And that goes for the mayor too. So the mayor and I were both reelected unopposed, and also Chris Conamos was elected to Rick Frizzalone's, the remaining balance of Rick Frizzalone's, and we are pleased to have him join us, and looking forward to working with you too, Chris. I know you'll do a great job. So thanks again to everybody who didn't choose to run against us.
Councilman Bryan.
I said this privately, but congratulations to all 3 of you. That's really,
Okay, great. Before we let Councilman Frizzalone speak, we had a great ribbon-cutting dedication of Peck Park last Friday. Mr. Peck was there, 104 years old, and God bless him. He came out. I thought we were going to really have to will him off. He talked so long, and he was out in the sun. But, I mean, he had his thoughts together, and it was just a wonderful, wonderful. And, you know, I want to tell you, in the past, there might have been some friction between the county and the city about that property. That's over and done with. And now to see 100 parking spaces there, a beautiful playground, an ADA ramp, that just adds more to our city and has more visitors coming into our city as well. So I was very, very happy about that. I'm going to give advance notice again that we will not have coffee with the mayor on August 13th, but we will have it next month, July 13th. Our guest speakers that day will be someone from Express Care. We lobbied and lobbied to get an urgent care over here in the Shores, and I don't think that they're getting the uses out of that facility for a lot of different reasons. I've heard from a lot of you about rudeness, they didn't do this, they didn't do that. Every one of those complaints I bring back to Halifax. So I think it's time that they come out and say, what do they do? And then I would like as many people to be possible there on July 13th and say, this is my expectation, this is what I would like to see at that facility. So if you could come out, I'd appreciate that. I think that's all that I have for right now. And
I do have a question about the Bank of America property. They just bought it as an investment to lease it out for the time being?
Apparently, yes. As I said, I've called the broker, trying to find out a little bit more, what their intended plan is for it. But based on the sign out front, I think it's a speculation buy.
Do they have
I had money to
to
speculate.
or are they going to
we have no,
modify?
I have no idea what they plan on doing with that.
that's why I had asked our city manager as well as Stuart, and I've been asking Steve. So we have not gotten any inquiries that I'd like to put a movie theater there, a car wash, a strip mall, nothing. So we have no idea what the intent is. So that's why our city manager is reaching out to them, because they have not contacted us.
Good, thanks.
Okay. Councilman Frizzalone, I can
Thank
call
you.
you that
Yes.
for about 3 more minutes.
That's exactly correct. So my official day is 6/28, and I got a chance to speak to Chris at great length, Stacy as well. Can't say enough good things about him. I think he's going to do a marvelous job, and I want everybody give him a big round of applause. He is absolutely cut of the right cloth. I'd like to thank the city staff, Kurt and everyone on the city staff, Nancy and Public Safety, of course, and Steve, who is here as well, and Gwen, Lori. I just want to thank everybody for the whole city staff for all your support. I'd like to thank the council members. You know, you're only as good as 3 votes. I mean, that's just the way the world is. And so I want to thank everyone here for your support, you know, of my initiatives, and I could not have done what I did without you guys. So really, to the council members and in particular, I just want to say thank you. And last but not least, to the residents of the Shores, thank you very much for all your support. And I can't thank enough. It was a pleasure serving you, and you're in great hands with the city council, and I'm glad, and congratulations to the council members who are coming back for re-election. You're in great hands, and the city is in great shape, and I want to thank everybody for your support over the last 4 years. It's been a great run. Thank you.
Talk about this now, so here's just a little gift
Oh, it's very
from the
kind.
city for you and
Thank you
Ellen
very much.
to remember us by.
Thank you very much.
And then afterwards, please join us in the activity room. We're going to have just a little bit of snacks
Thank you
and
very much.
something for you to wish you well.
That's very kind of you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So next we'll go on to audience comments. So right now I only have one from Dan Morris. Dan, would you like to come up?
Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, I'm here representing the local Chamber of Commerce. And every year we put on a program called the Youth Civic Leadership Program. And we had asked mayor, we always have a mayor, a city council member, and usually a manager from the cities. Miss Mayor, the Mayor Miller, she was gracious enough to volunteer. She did a wonderful job of presenting for the group. She kind of brought everybody together. And I know she inspired several of the young kids. We had 16 young people, ages 9th grade through 11th. And our whole idea is to get them to see how government, city residents, and businesses work together to create a great environment. And I can tell you, the Mayor did a great job. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dan. And as always, even if you didn't fill out a form, if somebody would like to speak, you know, feel free to come forward, and then you can fill out the form afterwards. Is there, Tony?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My concern.
Oh, again, I'm sorry for the
Tony
public.
Robizinski, 4 Oceans West Boulevard, Cloverleaf North. My concern is Bank of America. What's going to happen there? I mean, it's a beautiful property. I just hope that something comes there of good. And I'm asking the city, believe me, I love the staff here, I love this city, I love the council. Please, let's keep on top of that if we can, because it's important. We want to know what's coming there. That's right on beautiful A1A. So it's important. These people came in and bought that piece of property there, but what are they going to do? What is going to happen there? I just hope it doesn't become an eyesore.
And you have my commitment, Tony, that we are going to follow up on that. We're on it.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Anyone else that has any comment? Ed?
Good evening, Ed Good evening, Ed Offerman, 3311 South Atlantic. First of all, I just wanted to comment on the Wasteboro contract. I wanted to make my feelings kind of known on that. As Kurt mentioned, you know, it's not really a legal issue. I mean, he already knows it's a contract that's binding till 2026. But since there is a reopener clause, and if they come and ask to reopen it, and if they have some good reasons to do that, I would just like to remind the city that it's a reopener and that's a full negotiation. So if they're asking for a 10 to 30%, or even you give them a 5% increase, whatever you talk about, that the city gets something in return if we need it. I mean, I want the council and the staff to think about what is it that the city might want from Wasteboro in exchange for reopening the contract and giving them the opportunity to pay them additional money. Second issue I wanted to mention real quick is I know everyone's heart is in the right place, and I have no objections to making Veterans Day a holiday for city employees, and I love my city, I love my city employees, and you all do a great job. But some comments were made and and honoring, and with all due respect, and honoring the city employees. And I'd just like to remind the council that the purpose of Veterans Day is to honor our veterans. And if an offshoot of that is that city employees get an additional reward because we also appreciate them, just like we appreciate our veterans, that's fine. But I'd just like to remind everyone that Veterans Day is in fact a holiday set aside not to honor city employees, but to honor our veterans. And we can take the opportunity to reward our city employees at the same time. Since I have 1 minute and 11 seconds left, and that's why I was talking fast, I'd like to offer my congratulations to the Vice Mayor, to the Mayor, the Councilman-elect, on your re-election. But even more important than that, I'd like to thank Councilman Frizzalone for his service to the city and to the council. I mean, this is a great city, and we have a great mayor and vice mayor and council and councilman, and I know how hard you all work and that you work together. So I really want to personally thank you. And just want to offer those congratulations. I thought I had one more note, but I do not.
It's not a requirement to use all 3 minutes.
You don't know me. I used to be a councilman, so I would love. Oh, I would like to thank you. You're welcome, Mel. I never had any ideas of running against you, but I know you. Thank everyone. So since I got 11 seconds left, I just say, that's all right.
Well, the nice part is, if you're saying nice things, we might extend your time.
I'm done. Don't ever offer me that opportunity. I'll be up here. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, is there anyone else? Okay, if not, we're going to move on. Items recommended for the next agenda. Naturally, we will bring up the smoking issue. Is there anything else that we want to put on the next agenda? Okay, if not, then we are going to move back up to 11C. So that's consideration to appoint a new member to fill the vacancy for seat 1 until the next 4-year term begins. So as you know, Mel and I will be reinstalled in November. And Chris Conamos, because he was unopposed, would also be installed at that time. I think it's very important. I think in our charter, we could go with only the 4 of us. I don't really choose to do that. So I'd like to talk about, and if somebody would have a motion for who we would want to fill that role for the next 4 months.
Motion for Chris Conamos to fill the role for the next 4 months.
You beat me to it, so I'll second it.
Actually,
Yeah, I don't think you can.
I don't think that the charter reads that only remaining members.
Okay, all right, so,
Reappoint, correct.
all right, so you're gonna do the motion?
I second the motion.
Okay, any talk, any discussion?
I just want to clarify the motion because I believe Councilmember Frizzalone said today would be your last day.
Correct. Yeah.
Which is different than the email he put out. So it would be effective not like July 1 like we had originally
Not, it will
thought.
be
It would
today.
be tonight,
Right.
effective upon his swearing in at the end of the meeting.
Okay,
So
all
the
right.
motion needs to state that.
I make a motion, we have a swearing-in ceremony and get on with things.
Yes, okay, all right. So we are going to change the date of Councilman Frizzalone's resignation from June 30th to June 28th. Is that correct? That's what you're saying, and that we will install Chris Conamos to fill that seat effective tonight?
Yes.
That's the motion.
I'm just clarifying, that's the motion, okay.
And I second that.
Okay. Sherry?
Councilman Bryan,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lindauer,
Yes.
Mayor Miller.
Yes, thank you. Okay, Chris, can you come up, and Attorney Olson will administer the oath to you. Stacy, can you come up and join him here as well? So for everyone that have not met Chris Conamos, this will be our new council person, and this is his wife, Stacy. Chris and Stacy Conamos. Okay, we've asked them to be, everyone that usually comes up brings their own Bible, and I'm not going to go into detail, but this is a Bible that is very, very important to the Conamoses, and the whole family is there in spirit for them tonight.
If you'll raise your right hand, please. Repeat after me. I, Christopher Conamos,
I, Christopher Conamos,
do hereby solemnly swear or affirm
do by solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution and the government of the United States
the Constitution and the government of the United States
and of the state of Florida
and of the state of Florida
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
domestic or foreign,
domestic or foreign,
and that I will bear true faith,
and that I will bear true faith,
loyalty, and allegiance
loyalty, and allegiance
to the same,
and
that I will, in all respects,
and that I will, in all respects,
observe the provisions of the charter and ordinances of the city of Daytona Beach Shores,
observe the provisions and charters
and ordinances of the city of Daytona Beach Shores,
and ordinances in Daytona Beach Shores,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
as council member for the city of Daytona Beach Shores,
as council member for the city of Daytona Beach Shores,
on which I am now about to enter.
on which I am now about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you.
Okay, so everyone, so this is our new city council for starting 2022. Chris, I'm very, very happy. Congratulations.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Looking forward to working with you.
Why don't you get in the picture, Mary?
Thank you so much.
There we go, right in the middle. There we go. Let's get a nice close-up here. There we go.
Okay,
Thank you so much, Rick. Thank you so much for everything. Appreciate it.
Okay, so we are at the end of the meeting. I said this would take place at the very end, and it's taking place at the very end. Again, we're very happy. Thank you, Rick, for everything that you did. Please join us across the hall for light refreshments as we honor the Fruit Alones as they move from one coast to another. If nothing else, the meeting's adjourned.